You may have heard that in your rowing stroke, it's important to keep that chain level in and out throughout your whole rowing stroke. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you why it's important and why just thinking about keeping that chain level can affect other parts of your stroke and make you a better rower. I'm Alicia Clark. I'm an ambassador with You Can Row Too, and let's talk about the chain. When we talk about why it's a good reason to keep that chain level, there's a couple reasons why. The biggest is that it protects the machine. And so if you think about it, ideally our chain's not going like this. I don't want to do it too much, but I'm sure maybe you've heard that chain bouncing up and down and you can hear it up at the front as you come up. So as you're coming up, that doesn't sound very great. Ugh. So to make it a smoother transition into that next stroke, it's important to keep that chain level. Because if that chain's going up and down, then that's when we start to get that noise. You can kind of hear it. You might be able to up at front, it's kind of smacking up there. So if we keep that chain nice and level, that's much less likely to happen. So you're able to smoothly go into the next stroke instead of hoping and waiting for that chain to catch into that next stroke. So we want to keep our machines lasting for longer. I'm sure we all want to do that. Don't want to have to buy a new machine when we shouldn't need to. And so that's really important. But keeping the chain level also will help your rowing stroke. So ideally, we want to be able to get that body over, arms out before the knees bend. And notice that when I do that, it helps keep that chain nice and straight. What can happen is if your knees are bending early, and I'm not getting body swing here, right? It's easy to have that chain go up and down around your knees. So what we want to do is get that handle in front of our knees before we come into the front, and that helps keep the chain nice and level. So that'll set you up really well for the next stroke and be able to get into it much smoother than if it's bouncing up and down, right? If it's smooth in, as soon as you're ready to go and go drive to that next stroke, the machine's gonna be ready and you're gonna be ready. So how can you kind of practice this? You can just kind of keep an eyeball on it, and if you tend to hear that chain slapping, then you know that, okay, I should pick up my hands, make sure they're nice and straight in and out. What you can use is you can use really any kind of tape. I would pick some sort of tape that at least can stick fairly well, but will come off also fairly easy as well. So what I'm doing here is you just need a really small piece, and you can put it around one side of your chain guide. So I like to at least sit at the finish, maybe do a couple strokes, kind of eyeball exactly where my chain stays. It's right about there. And then put it on the side of the chain guide. So that way, I want it to always stay within that tape. It might be hard to see. Let me put it on this side. So if you kind of see, I know the tape's black, so it might be hard to see. If I had painter's tape, it might be a little bit easier to see that bright blue. But then when I'm rowing, put my feet back in, tighten those straps. As I'm rowing, I'm keeping that chain level with the piece of tape. So notice if my hands go down too far, now it's gonna be below the tape. Gotta keep those hands up into the catch. And it can also help you from finishing too high. Because notice now when I've finished too high, I'm above the tape. So it'll help you at the finish and at the catch to keep those arms up instead of letting them drop. So that's a good tip, something that you can use to kind of find that reference point and practice keeping that chain level in and out. Another drill that you can do, on top of that, you can use the tape or you can do the pause drill. This one's a good one to do at arms and body over. So here, keeping that chain level, and then into the catch, you're keeping those hands up and within that piece of tape. Just like that. And over time, make that pause shorter and shorter until it's just a slight hesitation, and then you can take it away completely. just like that. So using the tape and the pause drill, one or the other, or both. Whatever's easiest. If you don't have tape, try the pause drill. Just kind of go based off of a reference point that you can see. A couple things that can help you keep that chain level throughout your stroke. Thanks for joining me in today's video where I talked all about just keeping that chain going in and out straight. Hope you enjoy the tips that you heard in this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button and then you'll get to see more from me. And thank you for, again, watching and following along. And I hope to see you in the next video.